Hello, hello, hello. There's a seven there. There's a seven behind me. There's also a holy in my call.
Hello! I
Hello.
am here.
He is here. And the reason that I made a little bit of a weird sound is because I needed to unmute two things. Not just me, also holy.
Yes. You may want to set up your lighting as well, by the way.
It is. It's just a little further back, so it's
Oh, I'm
a little
loud.
darker. Actually, don't really all that mind all that much. Can you speak?
Speak.
That's still louder than me. Speak again?
Speaking.
Yeah, that seems better.
Alright.
I think you're about the same as I am right now.
Good.
Dragonwolf can tell us. Also, thank you so much, Mr. Mont, for being such a good mod today. Well done.
Yes.
Bye, honey. Now it's a bit too soft. It's never okay, is it?
I am soft.
No, you're
I'm a
not.
softie.
No, you're not. You're paper thin. You'll give me a paper cut if I hug you.
Boost!
Compared to me, yeah, that's fair. Hello, Apple.
Hello.
Soft. Oh, well, no, don't. Don't.
Just soft, not the O. Just soft. See? I'm very soft.
Squish. Just go. Squish.
There we go. How's everybody doing?
Yes, good question. How are you? Hello, Vixie. Squish. Drago says squish. I will. Now I have to do it all on my own.
Oh, yo! There's a
Hello.
flower and a nuggie.
That's so cute. I get the flower, you get the nuggie. How am I supposed to do it? I'll keep it there. And feed sticker. Oh my god. I don't know if he's gonna come over for that. Also,
Yes!
hello, Mr. Knight. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello.
Sticker.
How's everybody doing popping in? Dragon Wolf is alright. Good to hear. I am alright too.
There
We're
he is.
starting a little earlier than usual because of other plans during the day, so
Yes,
things
take it
clashed a little
without
bit.
my fingers, please. Thank you so much, Fixie.
Hey, hell yeah.
Very much appreciated. There we go. Sticker got two treats because he never gets
Dragon
any.
Wolf beat you to it. Aw, he
I
is
mean,
speed.
I'll just leave it there for a little bit. Or do you want something else, like the spider or something?
Spooder.
He's getting chin rubs and he is enjoying it thoroughly right now. He's adorable. So, Apple, do you
Very
want a
good,
different
very
one
good.
then, or do you still want the wolf, the little wolf?
Just
Sticker
have
eating
to
like
a whoop
a.
double time.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but she might want something else if she. It's her call.
Double time doesn't actually mean twice as long in time. It's weird.
No, it's two times as fast, right?
Yeah, double
Double
time is
time.
just like speed up 100%.
Thank you, sticker. Let's go for the squish. Squish. That's actually a lot better to keep on my head. A lot less movable. I can just move
Yeah,
around with it a little bit more. Sticker is right here. I can play him like a piano.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind.
Oh, right now he's enjoying it. It's purring. He's cute.
It's the cat piano.
Up until the moment that he's not very cute and starts to attack my hands out of nowhere, like last Wednesday or so. No, Friday it was.
You know the cat piano? The cat keyboard?
Is that the? No, that's the bongo cat.
Yes. No, the cat keyboard is an actual product, and you can set it to cat mode, and then if you use any notes, it makes a meow in that tone.
Mmm.
So you can
Fair.
go like meow 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 meow.
Fair. It does sound fun.
So
Also,
I
like,
of course I heard Meowgalovania. Meow 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 meow
Yeah,
meow.
that's fair. Also, Knight, understandable. Thank you for
Yeah,
being here anyway. We really appreciate that.
but yeah, that's the cat keyboard. It's fantastic. It's a fun little
Fair.
product. Through the
I
fire and
imagine.
flames on that keyboard. Yeah.
Oh, heck. Of course you know the tones for it. Can I can I reach?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can reach the thing that I want to show. Too many things in my bag, as usual.
I got to hear this twice.
That's fair. So, you guys have seen me in the museum starting a little bit of a crochet thing. I actually made coasters, and now I have 6. So I bound them together, and I'm gonna give them as a present to the Stefan's grandma's birthday today. So I'm gonna give them to her.
The birthday girl.
Yes. The light really doesn't seem all that bright, does it? I didn't
No,
think that. It's like this far further back. It's not that much, but apparently it does change a lot. But I think I still look okay enough. Hide me in the dark. It's fine. I think she'll love them too. I mean, the moment she knows that I've made them, she's gonna be really proud. That is the kind of person she is. She has some issues. Like she's one of those people that value work, and when you can't work, even if you have a valid reason, it just sounds wrong to her. So those are like little things that I don't really care for. Um, but she does value the things. So she values something like this. If I make her a food, she is one of those people that will really appreciate that. So I'm sure she's gonna really like this. I think
good.
it's both the good and bad side of valuing work. Basically, she
Yeah.
values it when you put in the work, but when she notices that you don't do other work, like actual work, I work 16 a week. Right now, I used to work 24, and to her that doesn't sound like correct because you could do the 24, so you should just go back to the 24, and that's not how it always works. So it's both good and bad. Once
Yeah.
you've gotten the hang of how the stitches work, it's not that hard, but you really gotta get the feel for it, and the tension needs to be correct. And as soon as you've got that, it's fine. It's not that hard. It just takes a lot of time.
Easy to learn, hard to master.
Apple might be happy to know that my finger doesn't hurt as much anymore. It started to hurt at the beginning, and now when I do long stretches, it doesn't hurt as much.
It is a
It's
hook needle, yeah.
I can't share the. Oh, I know I can. It's fine. I can share the color. Don't pay any mind to the color. So this is a piece that I'm working on right now. It has a hook.
I'm currently not looking at the stream.
That's fair. Well, Apple also doesn't know what I'm making. So this is the hook, and the basically you're making little knots. So as soon as you know where to go with the end of the hook, so you always have a loop. You go somewhere either under both or under one, or just the back loop, just the front loop, whatever. It changes per pattern. You just put it through, pull the thread that is around my finger back, make another extra loop, and then you loop it around again, and then you pull it through again, and that makes a knot. And all of those little knots are crochet. It is very tedious, but it's also very relaxing, in my opinion.
It is the reason why I don't like it,
It takes too long.
because it's tedious,
Mm.
and I don't get enough um, like visual difference. I don't get the I'm making something
Mm.
feeling out of it fast enough. So
That's fair.
I can totally understand.
I
This sounds very tedious for some. That is really good because it's one track. You just do this and you do something else.
I like
Um,
that more with this because you have to fill it up halfway and then you fill it up at the end. This is the body for a little raccoon. This will be its face, and then I have all of the paws and tail in here as well, and the little ears. I don't know how to put it together yet, which is Apple is gonna help me with that. But I mean, I got all the pieces. But then at least you see what you're doing. So at some point I had to put in little nails because if you fill it up, you can't make the nails anymore. So you can see that it's the little front paws and the little back paws because they're different. It's very cute.
yeah,
It's
it's
also
repetitive, which
something.
is why it can be very relaxing.
It's
Exactly.
also something you can do really easily with a book or a series. So if I were to watch something that I already know or that I don't have to pay full attention to, like so different language, I could probably do this. Whereas
Yeah,
now I've been listening to Harry Potter on my phone, and it's going really well because I can just keep going. Exactly. So yeah, I'm hoping that this thing. I'm not gonna say what it is. Like a story tree. Yeah, that's right. I can't do it because I have to read. That's gonna be difficult. I can't do both. Also, I need guidance. Right now, I'm at the point where I need the video that is accompanying the pattern.
yeah,
The main thing is enjoying it, yes.
exactly.
But it's been nice. I've listened to 4 of the Harry Potter books so far, so I'm gonna finish the. I'm probably realistically gonna finish the other 3 books this month or this week. I've been reading a lot
Insane.
or listening to it a lot. But yeah,
Insane.
but it's
Those
fun.
books are like
They're
25
yeah.
hours.
I mean, it's gonna get more and more because all the books, every book is a little thicker than the last.
Nope,
Yes,
nope,
yes.
nope.
Well,
The Order of the Phoenix is the biggest book,
that's
and the Half-Blood
possibly true.
Prince is, I believe, a little thicker or a little thinner than the Goblet of Fire, and
Mm,
the Deathly Hallows is, I believe,
basically,
the
except for the sixth. I think that makes a lot of sense.
about the size of the Goblet of Fire as well.
Fair. Well, at least they're all thicker than the first 3.
Yes.
So to me, they are still all gonna be bigger or longer than what I've been listening to.
Yeah, so it's about 20 hours for the first 3, and then it's 25 hours for the fourth, sixth, and seventh, and then 30 hours for the fifth.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's fair.
So far, I've gone through 1, 2, 3, and 4 8 years ago, and now I'm going through 5.
I mean, you are the reason I started listening. I just have way more
Yeah.
time to actually listen. And I've also not just been crocheting during it. I've also been playing a game on the Switch because I don't need the sound of that, so I can just put on my book, play the game, continue.
It's how I do things as well, except I watch videos and play games.
Yeah. I mean, I used to do that, but videos don't always capture my interest all that much. And right now, I don't really have any subscriptions that I'm like full on watching, so it doesn't really seem like a
Well, the
necessary thing.
same thing could be said for watching series and doing something else on the side.
Yeah, true.
It's basically the same because I just put on a playlist of a bunch of videos of one person and just watch the entire series that they have put out.
I've been listening to the Lord of the Rings while sewing. Yeah, you mentioned. That's nice. I don't know if I could do it while sewing because you know how much sound my machine makes. Maybe in my headset I could do that.
So you just have on one, like in one ear, you have from the sewing machine, and then the other
I
you
could
heard.
do both. I can just put on both. This is a noise cancelling headset, so I wouldn't hear my sewing machine. I mean, if we're talking about sewing anyway, I might as well show on stream. I actually made a little mock-up for the front piece of a skirt thing, dress. That's what it's called, a dress. And
Is it a dress?
the other one, yes, it's a wrap dress. And then the other,
Does it have a bodice?
yeah, I was showing the bodice.
I don't see that because I'm not
No,
watching
that's
the
okay.
stream.
That's why I'm saying it. Like I was showing the bodice, and then this is the skirt for it, but I haven't attached that yet. So it's pinned, and if I pull it apart, then the pins are gonna be in my fingers, and I don't want that, so I'm not gonna show that yet. But I will put it in the museum when I finish the mock-up, and then if I can actually manage to make it look pretty, I might eventually show the original, the one that I'm gonna make, because I have the fabrics for it. Yay.
If anyone ever asks you, uh, I'm mainly talking to chat in this case because you know it. Ever asks you what the difference is between a dress and a skirt, is that a skirt is part of a dress, where the skirt doesn't have a bodice that a dress does have.
True. It is gonna be nice. And
Totally,
I
totally.
finally I finally understand how the other pieces connect. So you were correct. I needed to do all the other steps first, and then I would understand. And you were fully right. I wanted too much at the same time. I finally understand how it's supposed to go together.
There you go.
Now I just need to figure out
Patience.
how to finish it. I mean, you're not one to talk. You have none.
Well, I know from experience that you need patience for things.
Fair. But yeah, I'm glad that I understand how it works now. So that's good. But yeah, I don't have all that much time today, so let's get started.
Yes.
Because I have to be away at like 2 something.
Ready.
Ready? And is everybody ready? Apple's already typing out exclamation point ready. At first it's like, how is this ever gonna work? Yeah, that was definitely how it felt.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, it's just you put a pin in it, you put a pin in the other one, and then magic, and then you put pins in the rest.
Yes, a lot like math.
Ready.
Ready? Let's go.
Let's
This
go. Excite.
excite, hyper. Okay, let's go.
Here we go.
I did not have the summary. I do have it written, but then you have to open it. Should we just start?
We're ready. Just go.
We're ready, just go. Okay. Chapter 16. Early the next morning, Lachlan woke everyone up with fresh cups of pakoro or water. He had asked Zenith to prepare several pastries to take along to their longer trip to Meyerfall that day. Zenith had happily taken that task and finished before everyone had woken up. Everybody slowly crawled out of their beds and made their way to the dinner table. Several makeshift stools were created to sit the seemingly ever-expanding group, since Ida's originally had a luxurious 4 chairs to herself. Grab whatever things you're gonna need on the way. It'll be a long one. Idas took a sip of her pakoro and dumped a box of random parts into her bottomless bag. How much even fits in that bag? Valentina asked, chuckling. She had just been putting her notebook into her backpack, while Zenith hopped around asking if she could help anyone. This bag is one of a kind. An old crystal smith gave it to my dad. It was the only time I've ever heard of space crystals, until the stone appeared. Idas held the bag up. It was a brown faux leather bag with in the opening purple glowing crystals. It had one strap that could be swung over one's shoulder. The inside was a complete void, like a black hole. Endless nothingness. Yet somehow Idas could find anything she put in it. Delira had her bag constantly ready to go, and Ira seemed to want to travel light because she declared to be ready without an extra bag. Lachlan put the pastries, all packaged up, into his pockets.
That's the same magic as my goat.
Lachlan said matter-of-factly.
I can fit a lot in there. I haven't found the limit yet.
Is that where the fruit keeps coming from? Zenith asked, first looking into Idas's bag and then into Lachlan's pocket. Lachlan pulled out a purple orb that he placed into her hand.
Absolutely. Make sure you peel that one.
He warned with a wink. Hazard! Shouldn't you be packing your stuff? Everybody else is ready. Idas poked him.
Ah! Ah! I was sleeping, couldn't you see? Is this my Pagoro? Why is everyone staring at me?
Hazard spoke frantically in his waking days. You stood up and sat down in the chair. How could we not think you would be awake? Valentina sighed.
I don't need to bring anything. I'm set.
He threw the pakoro into his mouth and swallowed it all in one gulp. Most of the group looked at him with a little surprised at him drinking the hot liquid in one go, but when he didn't show any signs of discomfort, they left the workshop. Having everyone know where to go made it easier to get to the station without too much confusion. Even Ira had been there enough to know the way. They got into the train and went on their way. They passed Merith, and after another hour or so they came to a much larger city. Spurred on by several positive looks, Idas explained to them that that was the city of Tula, the crossway point of two large railways that ran across the west of the continent. They didn't have to transfer trains, and after a longer pause at that station, they went on their way again. They only passed one more town at just under an hour from Merith. It was still over another hour before Ira announced that they were getting closer to Meyerfall. On the west of this train they could see mostly a grassy area that was becoming more swamp-like by the minute, and on the east, in the distance, they saw a large river going down to the south, wetlands all around them. The first signs they saw of the city were nothing more than wet patchy areas. The train moved across the rail that was suspended a little bit above the swamp area. Slowly, houses and wooden suspended bridges came into view. On the outskirts of the city, most buildings were suspended above the water, or built on little hills, connected by complicated webs of suspension and fortified bridges. The more to the center they came, larger platforms became visible with more buildings on each of them. The trees became more and more, showing them what Meyerfall was built halfway into the swamp and halfway into the forest that were deeply interlinked. How do you think all these things are held up? It all looks very impressive. Valentina stared at the wooden bridgework the train went under.
Magic.
Craftsmanship! Probably both. Zenith had looked out of the window the entire time, drinking in all of the different places she could see. Even there, in Meyerfall, she kept looking around at all it had to offer. It's beautiful.
I will agree that it looks impressive, but not very sturdy. One good blast of that trunk could knock down the entire west side of the city.
Hazard pointed at a sturdy-looking tree surrounded by several bright green-leafed bushes.
Then let's not use anything that will make that happen.
Lachlan offered tentatively.
Bah, no fun.
Hazard crossed his arms and sat back. What's your fascination with destruction, old man? Don't you understand that several engineers and imagineers need to look and work on something like this to make it safe enough? Let alone the decades, maybe centuries it would take for that tree to be able to hold up such structures? Idas asked him. Hazard made a little grunting sound and turned his head away. Soon the train slowed down and ended up coming to a shocking halt. They slowly filtered out of the cart. At the front of the train was a large special block that had taken most of the shock from the train entering the station. This was the final stop for this train. Now we've seen all of the towns on this track, Valentina said. Do we know where the library might be? Delira asked, looking to Ira. Sadly, I'd never been at the station, but I think it was more into the forest. It has been built into a massive tree. The tree even provided the wood to eventually make the pages for many of the books in the library, Ira answered.
Then our best bet is trying to find the town square.
Locke
Lead the way, Doc. I'm already lost in this glorified treehouse.
Hazard sighed. How can you not be impressed by this work? It looks amazing, Zenith said, walking alongside Hazard as they followed the others into the city.
It would look amazing as a fireball. I'm sure it would burn for a while.
Hazard slowly started smiling.
All right, stop. What's your grudge against this place? It's getting out of hand.
Idas turned around to stop Hazard in his tracks.
What do you want me to say? Everything can be fixed with explosions. It's how I've been raised.
He responded angrily.
Fixing things is done by people who create, not by people that destroy.
Idas reacted furiously. What can be fixed by explosions? Zenith asked curiously.
It'll destroy any obstacle in your way. In the right doses, it can make a path through things like mountains, or in small amounts, it will help you survive.
Hazard said, with a bite in his words.
It takes people like me days to fix whenever some maniac decides to blow something up. Too often I get people in my shop asking for replaced limbs because they lost them in explosions caused by themselves, or worse, someone else.
Ida's voice started to break.
Okay, I think it is about time we bury this axe, shall we? We are not here to blow things up, thus no one will get injured.
Lachlan tried to stop them from escalating even further. Hazard looked like he wanted to defend himself, but he deflated with an angry look on his face. He took a moment to compose himself and breathe, swallowing his anger.
I have never and would never harm anyone, any innocent. The only people affected by my blast have been me and my demolition companies.
He said, attempting to stay calm.
I'm sorry. I lost my cool so heavily. It's just the visions keep coming back. They haunt my dreams.
Idas wiped her eyes. He nodded briskly.
Come on, let's see if we can find this big library.
Zenith said softly. She gingerly touched Idas's arm, hoping she would allow Zenith to take her away from the situation.
Yeah, let's.
Zenith looped her arm through Idas's elbow and pulled her into a random direction, hoping it was the correct one. While she would normally chatter away enthusiastically, even Zenith was a little quiet at that moment. Behind them, Valentina and Lachlan walked alongside Hazard, just in case he needed support too. It took them 2 tries, having asked a second time, to find the town square. They were sent further into the forest. Houses were scattered everywhere in between, towards a duel of 2 ancient trees that must have been living there for centuries. The smaller one had molded itself around an impressive stone structure that looked old but sturdy. They had been told that that was the town hall, whereas the other tree had wooden additions to it, but otherwise it was impressive on its own. The base had a staircase, leading to double doors that seemed to be made out of the wood of the tree itself. The tree, despite being used as the grand library, was very much alive around it. It still pulled its moisture from the damp swamp below and thrived. As they made their way up to the staircase of the library, up to the doors, a soothing feeling washed over them, as if being allowed to walk through a barrier. Where the square was shaded by the canopy above, the library felt bigger, brighter, and warmer. The massive doors looked imposing, but with the touch of a hand, opened as if the doors themselves invited the group to enter.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Hazard tentatively followed the others inside.
This feeling,
Zenith muttered. She continued so only Idas could hear.
it feels like home. Must be nice if it feels like this. I'd love to visit your hometown.
That would be difficult. It's nowhere close by, and I'm not sure I'm allowed to bring any visitors. They were walking into an atrium at the base of the library, which opened up to a spiraling staircases, both up and down.
Not allowed to bring any visitors. Now I get why you left.
Hazard walked past them.
I can put on my baby nose for eyes. I'm sure your parents will let us in.
Ida said and walked over to the stairs. So, do we go up or down? Delira asked, looking down into the stairwell. Perhaps we should find the guardian of the library first, ask permission to look around. She's the one we were going to ask the questions to. There wasn't a receptionist desk, so they still weren't sure where to go.
Perhaps up. In our libraries, the lower levels are restricted.
Why would anyone restrict people from wanting to read books?
To prevent them from gaining profane knowledge. Such as? Well, I don't know. Like other worlders? Or strange magics? Or how to enjoy Picoro on a daily basis?
In our libraries, it's mostly stories of our people going bad. They aren't the encouraging stories we want our children to learn about. But I have yet to find a book that the scholars wouldn't let me read after asking. They are merely gatekeepers to make sure you learn the right way first.
Sounds like you have an equally impressive library back home.
For a guardian, they ain't guarding very well. We could just walk right in.
Hazard stomped up the last steps of the stairs. You are allowed in on my opening the doors. A beautiful, harmonious voice called from above. A woman was carried down by beautiful white wings.
Her dress seemed to be made of sunlight, and she exuded warmth and light. Long, wavy, blonde hair curled around her shoulders and back. A friendly smile rested on her features. "Be welcome in my library," she said serenely. Zenith had stepped forward, tempted to fly up to meet her. "This feeling, your wings. Are you one of my people? Are you an angel too?" she asked eagerly. "No, but I see why you might ask such a thing," the woman answered, her feet touching the ground softly. "My name is Ahika. I was once Fey, but I am nothing other than the guardian of this tree, this library." "Whoa, that's so rad," Idas muttered, barely audible. Zenith studied the woman. Then she turned to Idas and Delira excitedly. "This is what my wings used to look like, back home. They had to change them because feathered wings were rare, they said." "You had to change them? That seems really messed up to have to change to go somewhere. You don't have to change to be accepted. If you're able to turn your wings back, you will be accepted by us," Delira said, slightly shocked. "I actually really like these. They let me choose what kind I wanted instead. I don't have the magic to change them now. I might, after."
Ladies, we are getting a little off topic.
"What is your purpose in my library?" "We need information on this rock, and we were told by it that we may find that in this library. We were also told you might know our source of this information. Ira." Ida started. She motioned her hands to Ira. "This stone is supposedly one of the primal crystals. This artifact is being used to capture creatures that we refer to as imps, and it doesn't accept any more of them. But there are more to be captured." "This is very, very old magic," Ahika said, examining the artifact. "I need to find some documents to help me with this information." She led them to a seating area and told them that they were allowed to walk around or sit if they pleased. She would be back soon. Zenith, who had gotten rather quiet, gently pulled on Valera's sleeve to keep her from walking away. "It has never crossed my mind. When they say it needs to change, it has always been absolute. I I never considered I could have said no." "You can always say no to change. People have to accept you for who you are, and if they can't handle you for yourself, then you shouldn't let them impact your life," Delira said confidently. Zenith nodded quietly, contemplating. "I'll have to consider then, if I want my old shape back." "If this is what you want to be, then that is your choice. If they then want to change you back, you can decide to agree or not." Delira sounded more self-assured than usual. "I'll think about it. Thank you. I'll go look at the books for a bit." Delira nodded and walked away too. They all found something to do, either looking at the books or lounging in the comfortable chairs in the seating area, waiting for Ahika to return. Chapter. Chapter.
Breathing.
Ah, yeah, breathing, drinking, doing living, doing something.
Yeah, staying alive, stuff like that. Ah,
Bah,
yes,
no
the endless,
distractions.
endless pockets
Yeah.
of Lachlan. The difference between men's jeans and women's jeans.
Yes, yes, it's very true. Also, bah, no destruction, boring.
Yeah, no fun.
I'm sure there would be books about destruction. Yes.
Yes, especially explosion magic. Um, so the profane knowledge of like other series and stuff like that this could also include are like Fullmetal Alchemist's Destruction Alchemist,
Mm,
Kimbri, which has
your boy.
yeah, it's one of my favorite characters in the series in the anime. Um, he has a circle on one hand with a dot in it, and a circle on the other hand with a moon in it. And when he puts both his hands together, he creates the transmutation circle that he needs to
To do
to
boom.
make explosions out of it.
Yeah.
And that is definitely a profane alchemy. um, that could be profane knowledge that would be stored within the lower depths of the library.
That checks out. I don't think we really thought about what actually is in the bottom of the library. It's just
No,
there's a restricted section, so that yeah, it could
we
have
didn't really
anything.
specify anything specific. We hadn't really thought about what could be in there. Just that it's
So far,
there
they
and
don't
that
need it.
exactly.
Basically, so far they haven't needed it. They just know that there is a place where that might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first chapter.
Yeah. Things are happening.
And like how Seven just came closer to just check the time on my computer. That's fair. I mean, my statement still holds. You went to check the time on my computer. Adorable. Anyway, shall we just continue?
I guess so.
Are we ready? I think everyone is, because usually they want more, 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 more.
Yeah.
Yes. I would
I
like
would
to
like to
visit the
visit.
library. Yes, me too. Ready?
Ready? Let's go.
Immediate. Onwards.
Onwards on a tight schedule.
Yes. Chapter 17. It took a couple of minutes for Ahika to return to the group. Zenith was still browsing some books further away, but the others all gathered at the seating area. I have found the knowledge you are looking for.
Fantastic. Let's read it then.
Lachlan eagerly stretched out his arms. To their surprise, they saw that she wasn't carrying any books or documents. A soft smile laid on her lips, and her voice rang out like a bell. I cannot share the documents with you. I can share parts of the knowledge.
That's unfortunate. We are on the edge of our seat regardless.
Lachlan said, slowly pulling his arms back. Please tell us, Library Guardian. We came a long way for this information. The relic you are carrying is one of three. Two of them are capable of carrying the same amount. The last should carry double. Locus is the one you carry here. Locus? Idas muttered, pulling the artifact from her bag. Ahika's friendly smile swiftly disappeared right before a heavy slam on the front doors.
Let's go check out what that was.
Lachlan jumped from his chair. The group made their way down the flight of stairs and to the front doors just in time to see them get busted open. Zenith ran past Ahika as the door swung into the grand hall leading to the atrium. She saw a pained expression on the Guardian, like she felt the pain the library would have were it sentient.
Let's deal with these brutes.
Hazard roared. Three imps came crawling in on all fours. One was as large as the other two combined. They can be different sizes, too, Idas asked, exasperated. The two smaller creatures spread out, while the bigger one faced the group that ran up. From two sides they heard the ripping of paper and books being thrown about, as the large one rushed right for Hazard and the Lyra, who happened to be side by side. We gotta get out of here, or it's gonna flatten us. The Lyra jumped to the side.
Get out? Why not stop it ourselves?
Hazard grinned. He put his feet firmly on the ground and let the imp run into him, shoulder to shoulder. Hazard was a strong man, but his power was mostly in carrying strength. His slender physique wasn't enough to stop the imp from barreling through him. Knocked to the side, he slid along the floor until he reached the banisters. Delira had stepped aside, but went back to Hazard to see if he was all right. Lachlan and Idas had been further behind them. Lachlan had grabbed his bowstaff to defend himself. I'll go see if I can stop one of them from destroying things, Zenith called, following one of the imps into the stacks of books. Valentina, who had been spared in the first attack, rounded the back of the larger imp so it couldn't get away easily. An overhead whack from the bowstaff on top of the imp's head knocked it to the ground. It quickly got up, angrier than before.
The blue markings that covered the imp's body turned a dark reddish purple. Snorting heavily, it walked over to Lachlan, trying to grab the staff from him.
Anytime you can produce that stone, Idas.
Lachlan said, struggling to keep his staff. As long as it's still moving, it won't let me open the vortex. I'm ready to seal it up the moment it's out cold, even for a second. Idas tried to use the relic several times, but it kept refusing. Lachlan made a swift turn with his staff, twisting it out of the hands of the imp, and attempted to whack it again. Valentina rushed the creature with her claws out. They hadn't seen her use those before. Angrily, the beast swung his body around in retaliation. The back of its head was bleeding from several long cuts from Valentina's sharp claws, who got thrown to the side by the swing. Lachlan saw his opportunity and struck the wounds with all of his might. The staff reverberated in his hands, making him drop it to the ground, as not to send that shockwave through his arms. The imp dropped like an empty sack to the library floor. Now I gotcha, Idas yelled, pointing the relic at the bleeding monster, opening the vortex, and within seconds the beast was entirely gone. Idas, we only have one more space, if your assumption of 10 was correct. That's what I'm worried about too. Delira and Hazard went after one of the smaller imps after Lachlan and Idas took over the larger one. It was crawling along the walls up to the second floor.
Couldn't you have mentioned you were going there? We just came from there.
Hazard yelled at the imp. They rushed up the stairs as fast as they could. Ahika and Valentina went after Zenith, while Idas followed Delira and Hazard. Delira was the first person to arrive at the imp, and it hissed at her. Delira hissed back, confusing the imp. It looked at her weirdly for a second and jumped up onto the wall. Hazard grabbed one of the books, lifted it over his shoulder, and aimed at the imp. No, you're not going to throw ancient, priceless books. Idas jumped up and grabbed the book from Hazard's hand, put it down on the ground, and jumped towards the imp on the wall. The imp copied Hazard's movement, grabbed the book, but it did throw it directly at Hazard.
Hey, why does that thing get to throw it, but I don't?
Tempted to grab another book to throw back, he searched for something else. Idas landed close to the wall. Her jump came just short. Closer to the wall, she jumped again, grabbing the imp's leg and pulling it to the ground. Keep it still for me, Idas said, walking up with the stone in hand. The imp thrashed in her vice-like grip, but as she thrust the ankle of the creature towards Hazard. Delira dove forward to help, earning her a kick in the stomach, but, to her credit, she grasped the leg that kicked her, and together Hazard and Delira kept the imp from regaining footing. Join your friends, you little monster, Ida said, opening the vortex. That makes 10. If her theory is correct, catching the next one will have others escape again, Delira warned. That's a theory, but there's only one way to find out. The three ran up the stairs and across the bridge spanning the inside of the tree to where the others were, regrouping with Lachlan on the way. While the others had been busy on the other side, Zenith had attempted to reason with the imp on her side, but it was soon clear that this imp had no good bones in its body. She had been thrown around by the imp a little, smashing overhead into bookcases and holding herself from falling down a banister by pushing herself up with her wings. She had managed to clamber back up and was about to attack again when Valentina joined her, and not long after, the others did too. In the time it took them to regroup, the imp had seemingly learned a new trick. Pieces of skin flew up into the air and formed into shapes of small book pages. They slashed through the air, straight for the small army standing in front of the creature. Clothing and skin were torn as the pages slid through the group, but the imp could only conjure up a dozen at a time. Zenith was hit the hardest, standing in front of the group with her wings still spread wide. They sliced through her in small tears. If it hurt her, she didn't show it. Her face was angry. I was trying to help you, she growled. Unable to use her wings for a while, she rushed forward as the imp prepared for another volley of pages. She and Valentina bashed into the creature at almost the same time. They held on to the creature, trying to keep it pinned to the ground. Their hands closed around the arms of the imps, both holding a wrist and a shoulder. Meanwhile, Ahika was creating a barrier around them in case the imp would slip out of their grasp. Keep it steady. I almost got it. Idas aimed the rock at the creature, who seemed more scared about Zenith than the prison it was about to enter.
Wait, are you sure this isn't going to release all of all of these things into the library? The Lyra stopped her.
No clue, but we don't have time to dwell on that.
Idas gripped the rock and opened the vortex. It spun out, switching its trajectory from the ceiling to the floor and back. The imp Zenith was holding down got caught in the vacuum, but not without a trade. The relic spat out several other imps, some with more markings than others. Up to this point, the group hadn't realized that the imp gained more markings the longer they were roaming the lands.
Well, shoot. Now we know. I'm sorry, Ahika. They may continue thrashing your library a little longer.
Idas apologized.
They can't escape. They mustn't be allowed to leave.
Lachlan called out. Ahika, who had been in the air for most of the time at the library, flying around on her wings, moved back from the group. I must protect my archives. Her voice rang like silver bells, clear and echoing at the same time. Her eyes closed and her form dropped from the sky. Just shy of the banister, she crashed between the bridges, out of sight into the forbidden basement of the library. Gasps were heard all around, but the first to spring to action was Zenith. Uncaring for her own battered wings, she dove down into the dark after the Guardian. The door slammed shut and a translucent golden latticework formed over them, locking them tight. The lights all around the library dimmed slightly, leaving a faint glow through the entire tree. The imps froze in place in a similar golden hue, suspended in the air. Blasphemous creatures! How dare you disturb the tranquillity of this library and desecrate its knowledge? Thou shalt be banished! Ahika's voice thundered from deep within the massive tree. Around them, 8 books were pulled by invisible hands. They opened, and they made their way to each of the released imps. A similar vortex as the relic produced was seen for each of the imps, just before they were absorbed by the books. Between them, Ahika, followed by Zenith, appeared in the center of the pit. Zenith swooped down next to her friends, small trickles of blood coming from the cuts in her wings. Ahika's mystical power thrummed in the air as the books slowly moved towards her and placed themselves in a neat pile on her arm. The woman's eyes were still closed, and the same golden hue surrounded her, like a network of gold touching every book the library contained.
Wow. Like, that was. Wow.
Yeah, agreed.
Ahika opened her eyes and placed the books before Idas. Use the relic. Capture all but one. Ahika spoke calmly.
Is there a way to recreate these vessels?
Idas pointed at the books. Books are not prisons, young lady. They are freedom.
I would probably make it out of metal. That's what I'm best at. I mostly mean the capability of storing these troublemakers, seeing as the relic is at capacity.
There is a way. The knowledge is forbidden, she answered, but hesitated. Locus, Tempus, and Coropus all have their own qualities. Figure out what they are, and you will be able to do what you ask for.
Thank you, wise guardian. We will find what we seek.
Would you be able to tell us where we might start our search for Coropus and Tempus? Varath Sian holds Coropus. Tempus is a more difficult feat. It is hidden well by your ancestors, in a place only your kind can comfortably go. Thank you, Guardian, the Lyra said, bowing in reverence. The next hour they slowly opened each of the books except for one that they left in Ahika's care. They trapped all the imps back into the relic. Ahika had gone off to attend a different part of the library. The moment she let go of her magic, the doors released and the network of gold disappeared. When they finally finished, Ahika came to say her goodbye and well wishes. The group was too tired and battered to talk on their way back to the station. Chapter. Well, so many words. All of the words.
Don't fuck around with librarians, yo.
Right?
Agreed.
Means I can be a little bit more noisy.
Yes.
Ik ga alvast richting de polder.
Okay.
Toch?
Right.
Straks.
I did a good stretch. That was a nice stretch.
Nice.
I've been sitting forward because a lot of my voices are like forward.
Yeah.
The only one that's up is Zenith, because then I pull my entire throat up to make more room for the high voice.
Well,
For some
let's
reason.
make sure that next book there's a little bit more male voices, because 5 female voices and 2 males is not nice on the narration voice that is also you.
I mean, that is kind of the reason why I tend to make anything that is like an extra a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
In this case, Ahika was actually made by Hope.
Yes.
So
Liz.
there's no other way. She made this, so I couldn't make this a guy. But she is not a recurring character. She's just
And to be honest, I think it fits much more than a guy.
yes, I agree. Although I could see a male librarian. I probably watched way too many of the librarian movies, which are really really cool. I really like those. I think you would actually really enjoy those too, because they're puzzles.
I don't know them, but maybe soon.
Well, they have like a puzzle element. The librarian is like an adventurer that needs to find ancient relics that uh, have been like halfway discovered. Like it's something is happening which makes it known that the thing is a thing, and then he needs to
Uh-huh.
go and find it and then bring it back to the library to keep it safe. So like things like the Holy Grail. I don't know if this is an actual thing in there, but it's things like the Holy Grail, like a
Right.
flying carpet, like the spear of what is it called? Spear of Destiny, I think it's
So
called.
it's Indiana Jones.
Sort of, but then more fun, like more comedy. So it's
Ah,
like
okay.
halfway between an adventure and comedy. It's if you want to compare it to anything, it's more like National Treasure.
Yeah, I don't know that either.
That's fair. Both of those are like the same type of thing as Indiana Jones, but instead of it only being action, it's also a little funny, but not a full comedy. But they are really fun. I think you would really enjoy them actually.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
And if you want to start with one, then we could start with the new National Treasure coming out on Disney fairly soon. I think a few months.
Oh, all right.
Because they are all separate stories. Everything. They are all. You can watch them in succession, but I'm pretty sure you can watch most of them out of order as well, because they all have a certain um what's it called? Like
They are
they
separate
have
stories.
yeah, they have one item that they are searching for, and they don't
Yeah.
really reference back to the. Well, they reference back a little bit, but not like a lot. So it's not like a continual story. They are separate
They are
generally.
individual.
Yes, but they are a lot of fun. I really do enjoy them.
Cool.
It's been a long time since I've watched any of them. Like you would consider me an avid movie watcher, probably, because compared to you, everyone is. But right now I watch an average of 4 movies a month. I used to watch 2 movies a night. I've seen so many.
You
It's
know
ridiculous.
how much my average is?
Once every 2 months or so.
You have 4 a month. I have 0 a month.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
then
you
just
do
a
watch
spike of
some.
3 in a day.
That doesn't count.
Exactly. Like that's not an average. That's an impulse.
That doesn't count. I made you do it. Actually, technically, you watched 3.5 because we also watched half of Rurouni Kenshin.
Yes.
But yeah,
So,
fair.
um,
For a year,
for
yeah.
a year, yeah,
Exactly.
same.
No, I think
And
she
they were
means
all in
you.
one day.
I think she means you.
I don't know, but still, yeah, accurate.
No,
But
I
yeah, if you know
actively know.
Fullmetal the Alchemist, the anime, I can very much recommend the Netflix movies that came out. They are so good. They are actually
But
like the 64 episodes of Fullmetal the Alchemist Brotherhood just condensed into a 6 hour, 6.5 hour movie.
it's really good. I
Just
really enjoy
watch
it. I
all of
mean,
all of that. It's so
I
good.
watched all. three of them with 7 1 week. Then there was 2 weeks in between that, and I went to visit Holly and Apple, and then we watched all three. Again, well, I watched 2.5 with you,
Two and
and
a
then
half,
you
yeah.
finished the rest of it.
Yeah. It is so good, man.
It is really good. I'm kind of
If you
expecting
just want
Dragon
to
Wolf
catch
to
up
want
on
to
Full
watch
Metal
it.
Alchemist Brotherhood, watch that. It gives you the entire sense of the story, especially if you've already seen the anime. You'll
Yeah,
be like, "Oh, this is slightly different, but it makes sense in
a
like
movie
contextually."
style. Yeah.
Um, where it's just like, "Oh, this is changed so they could fit more into it."
I think Dragon Wolf would also really enjoy them. And
I
if
think
so,
so
I'd
too.
be
Yeah,
happy to stream them to him at some point. Because he doesn't have Netflix. But yeah,
understandable.
and Netflix actually did quite a few of those movies. I think they are still going. I think the Full Metal Alchemist movies.
Yeah,
They have made real life or live action movies on Netflix for them, for the
yeah,
Brotherhood
and
ones.
they are so good.
They're really good. But they also made they started with Death Note. They made that
Which was
into a movie.
was arguably kind of shit, as
I
I've heard.
mean, I have watched half of it because then Ryu came into view and I was like, no thanks. Um,
Oh, is
so
Ryuk a problem?
he was a little scary to me. I didn't really care for that. But it's fine. I love him in the anime though. I just didn't like him in the movie. I haven't seen Bleach yet, but that was the next one. Then they came out with the first Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood movie. Then they came out with Rurouni Kenshin, and now the beginning of this month, they came out with the last two of the Full Metal Alchemist ones.
Yeah.
So they have quite a few already. I think that's all of them. Otherwise, I missed some that I just don't know the anime for, which is very possible to be honest. Um,
There's Van Helsing.
Yeah, but I don't
I
know if
think.
that's actually meant as a remake of the anime. I think that's just a series that is based
Well,
on Van Helsing.
there's also like 7 different animes on Van Helsing,
True,
so it's
that's
really
true.
hard to know if that is a continuation of the story or a different story or one of the 6 animes that are already
Yeah,
produced.
or just based on, because they can definitely just be based on the same legend.
Well, that's what I said, didn't I?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a
that's not
different,
how I
a
heard it, but
continuation,
yeah,
or
then yes. But yeah, I don't know if there's any others that are like literally made. Like I'm pretty sure they're gonna try and do Naruto next because they're doing all of the
yeah,
big ones.
probably.
So why wouldn't they? Um, I don't know if they would make that into a movie though, because that would be like 6 movies to contain the entire series.
Yeah, they'll probably just go for a piece,
Yeah, like
an arc.
Bleach. Because for Bleach they also did one like the first 3 episodes or so.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more. I don't remember. But I mean, I haven't watched it. I've read about it. I think they did a certain amount of episodes or volumes of the manga slash anime.
Oh, then I may actually know most of that in the movie.
And it's the base story. It's how he figured out what it all means.
Yeah.
That much I know. I just don't know how much further than that they went. So I know you see the girl that I don't remember the name of, and I know you see how he does the thing that he does with her or because of her, but I don't remember how much more that was supposed to be.
I don't remember anything about Bleach, to be honest.
I
I've
mean, I
watched,
know
I
he
think, the
punches people.
first
I know,
10, 15, or 20 episodes or so. Something like that.
I know she punches the people, or in this case him, to get his soul out, and then he can fight the. Is that also a homunculus? I think so. I think they were called homunculus. I
I
don't
don't
remember.
remember.
It's too long ago. I haven't seen the series since I was like 16, so.
Same.
But yeah, they are definitely recommendable. They look really cool. I've seen some of them and really enjoyed them.
I still remember the line that they sang in the opening tune of Bleach
That's
because
probably because you heard it a million times.
I've heard it a couple times and I was like, oh, this sounds cool. And then I looked up what it meant, and it was like, oh, this is even more cool. So the sentence that they say or sing is Miyagata Yozora no Shitachi no Hikari, which
That
means
sounds really familiar, yes.
yeah, which means look at the light of the stars in the night sky.
Oh, that is really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, so I remembered that. But I remember nothing of the show. And then it started rapping in the opening tune. I was like, oh, I don't really care about this. Skip, 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 skip.
I mean,
Episode.
at this point, it kind of makes sense to me when you say, like, I remember this one very specific thing and not the rest of it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm starting to have that same problem. It's fine. Uh, but yeah, I used to really like the series. I just, at some point, it becomes too long. Like the
Yeah.
episodes draw out and they fill a lot of things. Probably because the series was further than the anime, and then they needed to fill the anime to make it correct. And I don't
Yeah,
know.
sort of.
And I know it happens. I don't know if that happened with Bleach or if
Especially
that
with Fullmetal
point.
Alchemist 1 was like the anime caught up with the manga
Yeah.
and the manga was like, well, you don't have anything else, so we need to make more. And the anime was like, well, we also need to make more and we can't wait on you. So we're going to go our own way and it sucks. It sucks.
Shut.
Um and then Brotherhood came out, which was after the manga was done and
And
it
finished.
properly follows the
Yeah,
manga.
that's fair.
But like a
Thankfully,
big
that was
part
good.
of Fullmetal Alchemist original is just made up by the creators of the anime, and it doesn't follow the Brotherhood's series at all.
Yeah.
It's like
No,
entire
that's fair.
characters that don't exist.
Yeah, we had a few that I was talking about before because I've only seen the anime for the original. That I was like, oh, I mean this character, and you were like, oh, you watched the other one.
Yeah.
Which
Oh, you
is
mean
fair.
that character? I think you mean the character that doesn't exist in Brotherhood.
Yeah. But that was funny. I thought that was funny.
Like there's a character. It's a lady very far into like basically at the end. So you have at the end of one show, Brotherhood, you have a father, which is a character. I'm not gonna explain what he does, but father doesn't exist in Fullmetal Alchemist Original, and is replaced by a character that doesn't exist in Brotherhood called Dante. And Dante is pretty
Mm.
fucking cool, but it doesn't exist in the manga.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I
They
haven't.
do basically the same thing though, so
I
in
should
a sense,
watch Brotherhood. I really should.
you have watched Brotherhood.
No, I mean like the full thing, the manga, the anime.
Yeah.
Either
So if
way,
you watch the movies, you've basically watched Brotherhood.
that's fair. I mean, at least then I would like them. But even in the movies, there were little bits where you were like, "This is different."
Yeah, things are slightly sped up.
Yeah,
Like Laboratory 5 and
that was
the
what I was thinking about.
Laboratory 5 is basically just entirely cut.
Yeah.
Most of Laboratory 5 in the movies is very short, where it's very drawn out in the
Yeah.
anime,
Oh,
where there's like other characters that come
see.
in, and yeah, it's a little bit of a shame. Also, the story with Cornello is a little bit shortened. His transformation doesn't appear, which I can tell you about the transformation because it's at the very start of the movies and at the very start of the
Yeah,
uh, anime. So it's the first arc, basically.
fair. Yeah. Ram, I did post like Wednesday that I was gonna stream earlier, and then I posted in the Discord that I was streaming. I'm not allowed to use ad here. I've never used ad here, but I'm not allowed to use ad here.
You
So
can use that here, and it just doesn't care.
that's also fair. But I've
It
never
reads it as
used it.
text.
Even before I've never used it. So I haven't done anything different than just doing the thing. Next time it's gonna be the normal time, and hopefully with
Yes,
Holy here instead of at home.
that is the plan.
I know. I'll see how it goes. It's gonna be like near Christmas, so I don't know yet. I have to figure out
Yeah,
what
it's
date it's gonna be.
somewhere in December.
Uh,
4th.
Actually, the 4th. Yeah, it's not too bad. It could have been way worse.
I actually didn't look it up. I calculated it.
Oh no, I opened my little calendar in the corner of my screen. As if I remember when you post that on Wednesday. Well, I don't want to spam it. Gonna
Well,
have to watch back.
that's fair. I guess that's fair. Also, we may want to continue with the final chapter of this stream
Yes, yes, we should. Let's go.
because we don't have a lot of time.
No,
Shmove, are you all ready?
you better be.
Get yourself ready. If not,
Take another sippy.
you know what? Yes.
Not that you have that many lines, but take another sippy. There's more in this one. There's a bunch of hazard in this one.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh. I found it. All right, we are ready.
Cool.
Let's go.
Chapter 18. The group silently entered the train back to Tarlon. Another long journey lay before them. They ended up having an entire section to themselves. Are your wings all right? Delira asked Zenith while she was dabbing at the smaller slice wound on her left arm. I'm fine, Zenith muttered, turning a little in her seat to look outside. You got roughed up pretty bad. That paper thing was no joke. It's all right. She tucked her wings in tight. A slight hiss worked its way out of her mouth. Oh, okay. We gotta find the other relics. Aika said that Koropus was the easier of the two remaining ones hidden somewhere in Varathshian. First, though, I want to sleep in a bed. Varathshian is definitely a 2-day travel. I don't even think we would reach the port before midnight if we did decide to go today.
What is Waradshian?
It's a mountain range on the island to the north. Well, from here it's west, actually. From Tarlon it's north. I wouldn't call it easy by any means. I've heard of people dying on those mountains, covered in a massive forest. I don't want to go today. I need to make sure my work is up to date. Besides, it's going to take a while even to get to the port, like you say. It's not going to be easy, no. It's still easier than Tempest. I might have an idea of where Tempest is, Delira said softly. Her eyes hadn't left Zenith's form, now fully staring out of the windows at the darkened landscape. Her comments showed the rest that she was paying attention. That's great. Where would we need to go for it? Valentina asked eagerly. There are 2 lakes on this continent. Both were once ruled by my kin. The first lake we have just left. It lies adjacent to Meyerfall. The other is days away, more to the east of the continent. I believe it may be hidden by either one of those, by my ancestors. Then it's still easier to go to Warathshian first, but having a lead on Tempest is worth a lot. Now we have a basic direction for both of them, although it's still going to be difficult to actually find them. But it's so dangerous, and we are so underprepared. I think it might be safer to try and find Tempest first. Valentina sounded hesitant in mentioning anything about Warathshian. Okay, what do you guys think? Koropus in Warathshian, or Tempest, which could be in either Lake Morlin or the basin of Arlesh? Idas asked the others.
I'd say we try the lake near Meyerfall first.
Lachlan said, trying to figure out which name belonged to which. The basin of Arlesh, Valentina supplied.
It's closest of all. If we find any clues, we can always decide afterwards if we go to Morlin or Waradshian.
He continued with a thankful nod. Agreed? Ira joined the conversation. Delira nodded.
I don't really care where we go. I'll follow you all. See where the destruction takes us.
Hazard said, grinning. I thought you were asleep. Idas looked over at him.
Not for a second, little lady. I was wide awake and listening to the conversation.
He looked away, faking shock. You were wide awake? Snoring? She questioned.
He stammered, looking out the window on the other side.
Yes, I do that sometimes.
He suddenly spoke, nervously. While Lachlan, Ira, and Valentina laughed at the bickering between Hazard and Idas, Delira gently touched Zenith's elbow. Are you hurt more than we can see? She asked softly. No, maybe. My brother taught me how to keep my wings closed in an attack. I I failed him. Your brother sounds wise, experienced. He has to have gotten that experience from somewhere. If you told him about this moment, I'm sure he'd have more helpful advice. But he would also be proud of you for keeping your head high, even if it means you got hurt when he gave you tips on how not to get hurt in battles. The young ones in my village always looked to me for guidance and advice. I helped them out whenever I could, like a big sister of many brothers and sisters. They would still go against my advice, but I would never think that they failed me. They need to get their own experiences and mess up sometimes. Just like them, you have that same right, Valentina added. Delira gently grabbed Zenith's hand. Zenith, who had turned in her seat during Delira's words, looked up when she grabbed her hand. It's okay to mess up. I think you'd be a great big sister, Zenith muttered to Valentina, unsure what else to say to all of the encouraging words. They were lucky. With such a brother, you are lucky too. Learn from the experiences and become even greater than your brother was. I know you can do it, and you got us to help you along the way. Delira motioned to the others. The others had stopped to listen to them as well, so when Zenith looked around, all she saw was encouraging smiles coming her way. She nodded slightly and muttered a soft thank you. Slowly, the others started talking about their previous topics again, filling the time in the train. When they came back to Tarlon, hours later and in total darkness, they all crashed on their makeshift beds and went to sleep almost immediately. During the night, Zenith meditated for longer than normal. Her wings had completely closed up in that time, but little crusts were still present. She suspected those would disappear over the rest of the day. Before anyone else had woken up, she saw Lachlan getting up and looking over at her. He knew her well enough to know that she'd be awake before anyone else. He made his way over to her and crouched.
I'm going out for today, since we decided not to travel. I'd like to go arrange some things for myself. Will you tell the others? I'll make sure to be back by dinner time.
Yeah, I'll tell them. Will you be careful? Are you sure you don't want anyone to come with you?
Certain. I can make it through and make it out there. I'll see you around dinner time.
Lachlan smiled as he stood up. Be safe, she said again, wringing her hands a little. He left the workshop silently. To keep her hands busy, Zenith grabbed her journal and wrote down the events of the day before, waiting for the others to wake up. Everyone woke up on their own volition, except for Hazard. They suspected he could sleep the entire day. Can I help you with your work again? Zenith asked Idas after a simple breakfast. I don't care for sitting still. Sure thing. I need some more of these things. Idas pulled a blueprint from a stack of papers. At the top, it said in big, bold letters, Continuum Servo, and a wireframe instruction underneath. She gave Zenith a box of parts and explained how to make one from the blueprint. I'm gonna need a lot, so either until you got something else to do, or until the box is empty. Ida smiled appreciatively. I'll make them all, she answered happily. Valentina, who had been sitting next to her, stretched her back for the third time in a row. Are you all right? Since we don't really have any beds or anything, my back is hurting a little. I'm debating on getting one of those bedrolls the Lyra has. Idas, do you know if they sell those here in Tarlon? I believe so. If not here, then you'd certainly be able to find it in Mirith. I don't know where Du got it, Idas responded. Mine came from my hometown, Delira said, barely looking up from the book she was reading. I'd be happy to come with you. I wouldn't mind one either, and then I can do some more shopping. Ah, that would be a lot of fun, I think. Delira, would you want to come with us, or continue reading? Valentina asked. Thanks for the offer, but I think I'm going to stay here and read some more. Delira looked at Valentina. All right. Anyone want anything if we're going into town anyway? Maybe we could ask Lachlan to come along, wherever he is. Valentina looked around. He left early this morning to get some of his things in order. He said he'd be back before dinner, Zenith said, already working on assembling the continuum servos. Ah, that explains why he's nowhere to be seen. Well, we'll be off then, Valentina said, looping her arm through Ira's and walking out the door. When they closed the doors, Hazard, shocked, awake suddenly and looked around.
Is everyone okay?
He asked, still a little drowsy. Everyone's fine. Some just went out. We saved some bread for you from breakfast, Zenith said, shoving a plate into his view on the table.
Oh, thank you. What time is it? How long was I out?
Hazard asked, disgruntled, grabbing the bread. It's about an hour before noon. You slept the longest of us all. We figured you might have needed it.
I guess I must have. What you working on there?
He pointed at the object in Zenith's hand. I'm making these continuum servos for IDAS. Hey, dude, I made you something. Do you have time to come look? IDAS asked carefully. Let me finish this page, Delira answered, holding up a finger. She read on for less than a minute before putting a piece of paper in between the book and getting up to walk to IDAS. My experience isn't the best at this skill, but, it worked for Hazard. I made you, a prosthetic arm. It's fully operable with your arm inside it, and it would give you your full range of motion back. Ida stammered. She spoke too quickly for her mouth to keep up with the words. You what? Her expression went from confused to closed off to angry. What? She asked again, her voice harsh. I thought you'd be happy. You don't want your full movement back? I'm sorry I kept it a secret for so long. I should have asked. Idas looked saddened at the arm on her work table. What makes you think I'm not perfectly fine with my movement? Because it isn't perfect? It doesn't have to be. I'm fine the way I am, thank you very much, Delira yelled, tears welling up as she walked to the door. I'll be back later.
I'm going after her to make sure she doesn't get into trouble.
Hazard stood up, stuffed the bread in his mouth, and went out the door after Delira. Zenith had gotten up from the table as the tones had changed. She wanted to also go after Delira, but was happy Hazard already chose to do so. She hesitantly looked over at Ida. Are you okay? She asked softly. Yeah, no, I don't know. Ida sank to her knees. I really thought she'd be happy. I spent so much time working on this, and she doesn't even want to hear about it. Zenith sat down next to her. She debated putting a hand on her shoulder, but wasn't sure Idas would appreciate that. I know you worked hard on it. You work hard on all your projects. She wasn't used to those types of situations. She wasn't really sure what she was supposed to do for her friend. I I need some time. If anyone needs me, I'll be on my bed. Ida slowly made her way to the bed, throwing the mechanical prosthesis in one of the scrap crates along the way. Zenith nodded, but Idas couldn't see that anymore. Unsure what else to do, being alone in the main part of the workshop, she continued working on the servos, feeling like she perhaps should have done more. Hazard clumsily limped after Delira, since his prosthetic leg didn't allow him to run.
Hey, wait up, will ya? I can't go that fast.
Hazard said when he almost caught up. She ignored him and kept walking.
I know you can hear me, at least say something.
He slowed down to her tempo next to her. Just leave it.
You know it was meant well.
It doesn't matter how she meant it.
Look, you and I aren't that much different. I got my prosthetics because I couldn't work without them. She probably assumed that everyone would be like that.
But you chose that. I never asked her to do that. I never felt like I needed to be fixed.
It was wrong of her not to ask. She probably only wanted to help.
People always just want to help. They don't realize I'm capable of taking care of myself.
I know what you mean.
He tapped the metal fingers on his prosthetic shin.
People often underestimate my capabilities too.
They had sat down for a little bit, and a silence fell.
Shall we head back inside?
He offered after a while. You go ahead. I'll stay here a little longer. She gave him a little smile. He gave her an awkward pat on the arm as he stood up and walked back to the workshop. And
There we
finito!
go.
3 chapters. Done with time to spare, so we can chat a little.
Yeah, there we go.
And sippies, because, a lot of words.
Yes. So for anyone who is in chat, who has a character in this story, how do you think that the character holds up to your vision?
Well, that's a great question.
Because I know Dragonwolf, Apple, and Vixie are here right now. We
Yeah.
also have Froglin and Momo, and we have our own characters, and also
Well,
Liz.
in
So,
that case, I might as well ask you, um, do you still agree with how I portray her? I mean, I assume so, because.
well, I write her, so anything she says is correct in
Yeah, but
my
that's
eyes.
why I say portray, because I'm the one
Um,
that does the
and
voice.
if your voice doesn't fit how I felt it should, I will tell you in the rehearsals.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, in my case, it's absolutely perfect.
Fair.
Hazard is a good boy. I think Hazard is really nicely done. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. I mostly write Hazard, but
Yes, he does. I mean,
he,
that's one
he
of the
also
few
picks up
ones.
some.
Yeah, I kind of, I write something down and I'm like, is this how he would say it? And then Holy might change up how it's written a little bit.
Yeah,
Sometimes, not always, but sometimes.
I give him a little inflection, little words that aren't words like yeah and stuff like that instead of
Yeah,
you. Changing up the G on the end for an apostrophe to just more sound like summon instead of something.
something. Yeah,
Summon, yeah.
and I didn't really change the way we write the words for Aira, but I definitely need to think about how to change the words to make them Irish.
Yeah.
It's also whenever we start, whenever a sentence of her starts, my brain goes Irish, because otherwise I won't speak in an Irish accent.
Yep.
It's really difficult to switch accents so quickly. But I'll get used to it, because there's going to be a bunch more of Aira. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
fun. Maybe
And
we'll
soon we'll
finally
have
be
some
able to
other
write.
interesting characters that we created ourselves.
Yes.
I'm happy Apple likes her character as well.
Yeah, same. I
That
do
is
write a
mostly
lot
written.
of Delira. Yeah. Well, I think you started out doing a lot of that because I thought that she was helping you when you guys were together, but I think she's often asleep by the time that we write.
Yeah.
So she didn't. And then I kind of just took over writing her, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I pick her up sometimes. Um,
It
when
kind of
you have
depends.
said a lot of things and not a lot of
Yeah.
Delira was used in a paragraph, I tend to pick up characters that haven't been used in a while.
Yeah, not only that, because I do that too. I try to pull the ones that have been quiet a bit more. It's
Yeah.
also whenever I'm writing a piece that I need more, so I need an answer, but I don't need an answer from, in this case, IDAS, because that is mostly what Holy writes.
Yep.
Then I might pull a Delira or even Lachlan or Hazard. Actually, I'm more likely to write Lachlan than I am to write Hazard because I know Lachlan a lot better, at least now.
Yeah. Even though Lachlan is
Um,
also a character I write a lot.
yeah, so we basically both pull Lachlan a lot, but he is also one of the more leader type characters in the story. He pulls forward a lot on his own, so
Yeah.
we both tend to have to pull him because if we don't, then he suddenly becomes quiet, which is out of character for him. If he
Exactly.
suddenly is quiet, we might want to worry. Like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
Just like Frog. If Frog is suddenly quiet, then we all go like, hey, Frog, you okay? Is everything okay?
Is things all right? You're currently not being a present. What's wrong?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't hear you for like 10 minutes.
Are you okay? Did someone die? I like her how she's being done, especially the whole bookkeeping and random knowledge geography stuff. Nice. I'm
Oh,
glad.
that is good. Very good to hear.
I literally this week had a conversation about geography because I wasn't sure anymore if Vixie is in a different time zone than us. Because I know night is, and in my brain that was like, well, it's about that same area, right?
Except it's not.
Except it's not. And then she was like, yeah, well, I always forget as well. She was like, well, the other two aren't in a different time zone, and I'm not sure, but I think the one that night is in the middle or something. It felt really weird. I didn't actually check it at some point, but me and Vix were both like, yeah, we're really good at geography. We even pulled the math thing. I was like, this is just like math. It's magic. It's fine. I don't need to think about it.
Yeah, mathematical.
Yes.
So when is Hazard gonna unleash a big ass nuclear bomb?
Oh, we should have him build something.
Undisclosed. Nope. Can't say that. Soon? Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
But also
You'll have to figure
quiet,
out.
but still present, because I think it just fits like that. Yeah, I think she fits really well. I think,
Yeah.
I like Valentina.
I really like Valentina as well. She's a lot of
And
fun to write.
I really like that in this, because this is one of the few times so far that she's actually shown that she is not a human appearance. She has claws. She is
Yeah.
fur, covered in fur. Like, she is different. And no one cares. That is why it
She's,
isn't a thing.
in a way, she is similar to Lunara.
Lunera, yeah, sorry, you blocked out. But yes,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
similar to Lunera.
Yeah.
That was actually the first time today that Discord was like, nope.
Well, good.
So it's gone really well for a stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's very similar to Lunara in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
except for the fact that she's Fae instead of Khajiit.
Yeah. I'm good at geography. Time zones are different. That's fair. I'm really bad at both.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
clearly.
terrible at geography. Time zones are also a terrible thing.
I mean, time zones are math. It makes it horrible for me. But clearly, I'm bad at time zones because I said 12 CEST, which I thought was the correct one because it's Central Eastern or Central European Standard Time. But
Yep.
apparently, that is 1 plus right now because we are in winter time and not everyone else is. So we are CET right now, thanks to Dragon Wolf, because I didn't actually know that. So that's why I made a little post afterwards saying I ducked up because I didn't want to actually swear, saying that it's 12 Dutch time to make it easy on myself. Like it's Dutch time. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
And then there's also Greenwich Mean Time.
I mean, this is part of the reason.
Standard.
True. This is part of the reason why I decided to forgo saying which time it was in the post. Because we always start at 3 p.m. Amsterdam time.
Yeah.
So usually I wouldn't have to write it down. In this case, I did because it was so different. But for any of the others, unless specified otherwise, it will be 3 p.m. Dutch time. Because it's just easier.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. My headset just died.
Oh, sick.
So you might have a little bit of an echo.
Yep. I can hear myself now.
Yeah, I figured as much. Thankfully, I have another headset laying right here. And now
your mic quality is better.
Now it's fixed. So
yeah, nice.
But yeah, I do need to start like getting things ready for an escape room. I know everyone would be like, "Oh, that's so cool," but I'm not really looking forward to it yet. I don't like being lost.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I hope so. I probably would prefer to do this with our group because I feel a lot more at ease in our group. But yeah. Basically, yeah, Google Dutch time for your own. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, most people would have to look up the CEST or CET anyway, so you might as well just do Dutch instead. Doesn't really matter.
Just what time? Amsterdam time.
Yeah. Yeah, Apple, I think I would like it. I'm not sure what type we're going into, and I don't know if it's for me. And then going with a group that I see only like twice a year doesn't really feel comfortable for me yet. And I think I would be much more comfortable doing this with our little group, our family group, the Dutch people that are always going to stuff. Because I know them a lot better. And if I feel uncomfortable, there's people that can calm me down, which in this case is only 7. And if 7 doesn't notice that I'm not okay, then it's going to be an issue.
The one you made, Apple, that was amazing.
Oh,
that was so fun.
That's really
I
cool,
had no hand in making that thing.
Was that for Gish that you made one? Or
No,
is it
for
just
family.
for
Family Day.
Cool. That's fun. That is nice.
So, it was fantastic. It was her and her mom who had orchestrated the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really cool. It was like a trip through ages where you had to there was a paper mache mountain with a hole in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to look on the inside with like a little flashlight to figure out cave drawings and stuff. And
I think personally I would prefer doing geocaching because that is similar but outside. I just don't like being in a enclosed space. I mean, I already have issues sitting on the couch when 7 is like crawling me in to the corner of the couch. Like if I'm able to get out, I'm fine. But if he's halfway around me, where I'm at a very difficult spot to get out, I don't feel comfortable. I'm not scared. I'm not like
maybe
phobic.
Mild claustrophobic.
Yeah, but like enough so that I don't have any issues with elevators or anything. It's just uncomfortableness.
Very mild claustrophobia.
Yeah. But with all the mental issues that are surrounding that, I'm a little nervous to do something like this where I might be like that. But I already said to 7 that I might ask the people there if I don't feel comfortable, if there's a way to actually just get out without finishing it for myself, without disturbing the group. But I will definitely be bringing this to keep me calm. I'm holding my scarf for you. So
it's going to be all right.
Outside would probably be more likely. But geocaching is definitely a lot of fun. I really like that. I like puzzling. I would probably really enjoy doing a Harry Potter escape room. And I told Holy before stream that I would probably get through it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I know it so well. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I will. If anything, I might post it in the server. If I have a lot of fun, I'll definitely post it in the server. If I didn't, then you might not see anything, and then I just send it to certain people.
Yeah,
it'll be fine. We'll see how it goes.
I don't really care for geocaching. I've done it with scouting, but I'm not a fan of geocaching.
I think it would be more fun if you pay for it because it's more accessible. Things like we did one that was mostly on your phone and you only had to step close enough like in a certain range and then your phone would already ding and be like you're in the correct position and then it would ask for a number that was fairly easy to find or it was already stolen by someone and literally gone and you couldn't do that bit. So
right.
And that one was a free one. I think having a paid one would probably be much more fun because then you actually find stuff. I think that's good.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I like escape rooms more than geocaching, is that everything is planned.
Mm.
There's not some random person in the street that just is in the way of your geocaching.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or stole something or ripped it out of the wall, stuff like that. Like, everything is orchestrated in a room, and everything is solvable. And especially if you go with family, it is most likely not a scary one.
No, I don't think so either. We have a few younger kids. I won't say young. They're the youngest is I think just turned 18. But
then they are legally adult.
Yeah, but I think they Might
and
still
probably
happen.
more into horror than you.
No, I don't think so. I don't know
Well,
how much
either
I
way,
could say about them, but they are both fairly autistic, so I don't know if the
okay.
family would do that.
Yeah,
Would allow
understandable. Geocaching is basically you have a puzzle, and that leads you to a location where there is a thing to find, and from that thing there is either another puzzle or some other direction that you need to go into.
Yes.
That's basically geocaching.
It's a scavenger hunt.
It is a scavenger hunt.
The one I went to was definitely not scary. It had a fairy tale thing. That does sound a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think it's also because now I did not have any hand. I actually don't know what the theme is at all.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot of fun, I'm sure.
I will let you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, you already knew that, but I will let you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have a raid target for change.
Oh.
And it's not night because he's not streaming for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh.
How do I raid
raid?
again? That's how. Silverwood
All right.
is playing Tales of Arise, which looks a lot of fun. I don't know it, but it looks a lot of fun. So I figured we would rate them because it's been a while. I haven't spoken to them in a while. So
Yeah.
I will put that in. I hope everyone had a lot of fun. And we'll see you in 3 weeks. Holly, do you want to do your outro?
Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed as much as we did. And yeah, like we said, it's back to the normal time,
Yes.
Which is 3 p.m. Amsterdam time.
Yes.
Figure out what that is in your own space.
And come watch tomorrow at Frog Stream. We're playing Stardew Valley, all 3 of us.
Yes, so Sir Froglin is streaming Stardew Valley with both Kianadon and myself.
Yes.
At his channel, which is probably going to start at 8 Amsterdam time.
I think so, yes.
8 p.m. Amsterdam time. Again, figure that out, what time that is in your own space.
Exactly.
And yeah, that is a lot easier to just say our own time and then just good luck.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you also very much for watching. And in 3 weeks, we're going to be back at 3 p.m.
Absolutely.
with episodes, chapters 19, 20, and 21.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.